Greetings Gothlings, welcome to gothgirljournals. My name is Mina and I'm really excited that you could join me today. I am continuing with kind of creep on July now. We are on day 14, I think. All the details are down below. You can have a look. It's hosted by the lovely Tracy Fox. Sorry, I've been a bit MIA. Just needed a little mental health break. I'm sure you'll be able to see by my nails because they look even worse than usual. All right, but let's get crafting. So today's poem is The Haunted Palace. So I chose to revisit, or actually just visit, Dracula in his haunted palace. Like a ghastly rapid river through the pale door, a hideous throng rush out forever and laugh, but smile no more. Okay, so for this one, I got the idea from, I think it's called Bohemian Journals. I might be wrong, but I'm going to link her down below. And I kind of am going to adapt the idea for like the inside of the staircase in the palace. And I know there was another lady that doing Creep on June that did it. But I happened to have watched the other video before and thought, oh, staircase would be cool. And then I kind of taught myself how to make it. I followed the lady's instructions. And then after that, I saw the short that the other channel had done. So it's kind of like we're doing similar things, but it's okay. Everyone's got their own interpretation. Okay, so today we were given this, which can be kind of like a flappy flap or a Z fold or however you want to interpret it. I've done a little bit on the inside already. I've added like what I want to call a cellar down at the bottom here, and then this is the inside, and then this is from the kit where I've put, kind of looks a bit like a crypt, and then it's a banshee because there are ghosts all inside the haunted palace of all the people that Dracula has brought there and killed and stuff. All right, so I'm going to start off with what I like to call staircase. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be, but basically it is a bunch of papers stuck together, and then it kind of makes, when you open it, it makes a spiral staircase like that. So I'm going to use, this is my prototype. So I'm going to do this with, this is half of an A4 piece of paper, and then I've cut it in half again because you need to make two in order to have enough steps. So I'm going to put it like this, which is horizontally. Then we are going to fold one little end. Now we're folding it so that we can put glue on and connect the two because they need to connect. So it's not really that important how big your fold is. You know, just big enough to kind of stick. So I'm going to do, I'm already turning it wrong. I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch, which is here. Okay, now we're going to fold the paper in half, but up to the line, up to your 1/4 of an inch line where you've done the fold. So it kind of includes the fold, if you know what I mean. So like this, I've folded it over now, so you can go up to the fold or just fold it over. Okay, so this is one of your lines. Then you're going to measure 1/2 an inch on either side of this line that you've already folded. And then I promise there's only one more measurement. I don't like measuring, but this is, for this one, it's kind of necessary. 1/2 an inch, 1/2 an inch. And then we're going to fold those down so we have a nice fold line. And now we're going to zigzag these 3 folds that we have made. So like that. So it almost comes up. I don't know why it's looking so skew. Let me just line it up a bit more. I had no issues like this with the prototype. Okay, there we go. So we've got this like little zigzag in the middle, and we've got this here which we're going to put glue on and glue it like that, kind of making a tent, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's do that. I just want to straighten this a bit first. I'm not sure why it's going all squiffy on me. I think it might be the tea-dyed paper, because I can see it's also cracking a bit. So maybe if you're going to do this, maybe regular paper would be better. I just wanted a nicer color, but I think the paper is actually misbehaving now. Okay, so we're going to glue that. Right, now we've got our little tent over here, and the last measuring bit is this is going to be the width of each strip of paper. So I like mine at 1.5 centimeters. So we're going to go along and make 1.5 centimeter marks all across the top here. I'm just drawing the one line just to indicate to myself that this is not the correct length. So when we cut, that one's just going to get chucked. I'll try use this thing to cut on a wing and a prayer. Sometimes it fights with me, sometimes it cuts beautifully. It depends what mood it's in, I guess. And I'll try not to cut my own fingers off. Okay, and the last one. Alright, that seems to have worked. So you're going to be left with strips of paper that are folded like this at the bottom. They have that little V, but it's still like tiny skinny tents. I'm going to do the same with the second one. Alright, so this is all of mine. It made, I think, about 12, and I need 11. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Alright, now you're going to put them all facing the same way, just so they are ready. So the little squiggly V bit I'm putting on the left hand side, just so I know they are all the correct way. And then we're going to glue them together. That's the final step. I'm going to use kind of looks like Tipp-Ex or whiteout, just because it's quicker and easier. So you push it down and you drag a line. What you want to do is you're going to pick either the top or the bottom of your strip to put the glue on, and you're going to glue half the strip. Now, if you want to be very precise, you can draw a line across like this, so you know where the half mark is. I'm just going to ballpark it. So make sure, I'm going to do the bottom. So you make sure you do the bottom of each one. Okay, when you have all your pieces glued at the bottom, by the way, that glue was a nightmare. I used it back in my aesthetic journaling days, and because I was using it every day, it was obviously very simple, and I thought, oh, it'll pull a straight line, I don't have to worry about drawing lines. But it was quite difficult. So now you're going to join them. Again, same end on same end, covering about half of the previous one, and preferably getting it straight, which I have not done. This glue is nice though in terms of being forgiving, so you can move stuff around. Okay, now you will have glue at the bottom of your end one, and okay, this one doesn't have glue. All right, so it's kind of like that. It's not the straightest I've ever done. I don't know how my prototype came out so straight, because I never measured for that one. This, I tried to be very meticulous. Anyways, the staircase is going to go from here to here. So I'm going to do it this way because this side has glue. We're going to glue it on this side, not right on the fold, a little bit away from it, and right at the bottom. Okay, then we're going to put glue the top of here like this, just half, and we're going to close. There is a little gusset here, so I'm taking that into account when I close. And then, oh, when you open, that's not supposed to happen. The staircase does a windy wind with your little V's on the end. Sorry, all my V's are getting stuck to each other and not wanting to open themselves. Just do that. Okay. There we are. All right, I'm just going to put extra glue on this bottom one. That one needs to hold. Like hold properly onto the bottom step. And then open it here like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. So from the top, it's kind of like an empty staircase with holes. But if you look at it kind of from this direction, it looks like a cool staircase. Now we're going to cover this staircase with bats. Okay, before we put bats, I think I'm going to do that last because they're going to be sort of sticking out everywhere all around. On the stairs, and then it's going to make it more difficult to, you know, move around it and do the decorating. So we're going to start, I think, with the cellar. I've got a few bits and bobs here. Bats printed on transparency. These are kind of like really cool wings. I don't know what they are. They look like bat wings as well, I think. Sorry, these are, including the bat transparencies, these are from Art House Whimsy, and they are a freebie on her Ko-Fi. It's called Night Flutters. There's 3 pages. So I'm also going to link that below. They are stunning, and they look even cooler if you print them on transparency. It works really well. This castle, this image of a cellar, this is not from the kit. I'll show you the other stuff as we go. I want to put that over here, but I wanted some writing up here to cover this line. I just need to figure out which one. I think it was this one. This is again from Release the Crafton, and it says, "The blood is the life." It's a quote from Bram Stoker. This is Versa Magic. I think I'm going to ink up the ends in red so that it matches the red. This is not distress ink, so it's juicy and it's going to be all over me. There we go. I can't remember if I said cellar. It's supposed to be the dungeon. That's what I meant. Not cellar, dungeon. that is the correct term. Over here, I wanted to maybe put a clock. I want to make this like, you know, it's part of the house. So this is maybe the downstairs or the upstairs. So the clock, I've got some small bits and bobs like a candelabra, Sumerian, which means very dark and gloomy. I've got a raven, a gargoyle, tickets, one with a bat, one with a rat, macabre, waiting in shadows. This is a little postage stamp, haunting. I've got some of my ghosts that I've used before, gargoyle, threshold, crypt, and whisper. Because they talk about a pale door, I am going to put a door on here. It is from this set. I'm sure it's from Temu or somewhere. I quite like this one, and these little things come out. So maybe I'll put like a white piece of paper behind, and then I might have to go over because it is a little bit too brown for a pale door. There we go. So if you're wondering, yes, I did use my glue paper for this. It was just the closest and it wasn't stark white. So I'm going to go over the brown just now. But the door is going to be over here. So it's going to close like that. And then that is the first thing you see is the pale door, and then the gargoyle is going to go here, and there he is. I'm hoping this whole thing is evoking like gothic manor kind of vibes, or a haunted palace I should say, since that is the name of the poem. Okay, so the door I still need to work on before I stick it down. I'm gonna have the clock there, maybe a spooky boy by the clock. One of the words I think would be cool, like whisper. Spooky cloth under the word. I think that'll look good. Spooky cloth. So out comes the wet glue. That hasn't been used in a while, so it's going to fight with me. Oh, now I've pushed the metal tip in. Let me just see if this will still come out. Still works. I have to admit, this is working a bit better without the needle on top. The glue actually comes out and it's still quite precise. Okay, hope you can see that. Here is Count Dracula. I wanted to put his picture here. Quote, what does this one say? Orphic, mysterious and entrancing beyond ordinary understanding. A little bit of red around. My goodness, this broken glue is working so much better and faster. I think I'm always going to pull that needle out from now on when I get glues. I'm just going to do something else down here. Let's put the word crypt. There we are. Got that little cluster there. What I actually wanted to do is somehow incorporate this coffin here, you know, like he's sleeping in a coffin. I'm going to back this, maybe this, because this is like purplish, but it also looks like wood. This actually turned out really nice. It is wooden looking, and by coincidence I got a wood knot there. I wasn't actually looking where I was sticking it. Just distress a little bit. I wanted to be able to come out. I wish I had a like a nice hidden paper clip of a bat. I do actually have bat paper clips. Here's a bat. It's very cute. I'm obsessed with shaped paper clips, and so I tend to, which is maybe not good because then I tend to not make my own. So I think I'm just gonna clip that there and possibly clip it closed because I just don't want it flapping around. So you see it's quite cute on the Count's face a little bit. I'm gonna finish decorating the inside, not the bats. I'll show you some of the bats and then I'm gonna come back. I did a little bit of sticking and decorating. So this is the cover. I've got threshold and the bat and the door. And then we open up here. I swapped these two out. Well, I moved this here, waiting in shadows. And then you open here and we've got Dracula. I've put another banshee here, added macabre. And then in here we're going to have the coffin, which I've made a little hole in, and I've put fragile, do not drop, handle with care, and a little stamp. Postage stamp. And then I've put this quote here, every moment of the night. And then when you open here, it's this guy and haunting and a little bit of a web, and the rest I think you've seen. I'm gonna do the back here with you, and then we can go on to the bats that go on the staircase. I'm going to put a pocket around her like this. Okay, then I have the Count standing on a hill. Okay, so we've got that. Then we have the haunted castle. Okay. Then I've got this raven that's standing on a piece of stone. He's kind of part of the castle. And then I'm going to use one of these bats that I printed on acetate and put that little dude somewhere here. And then I'm going to show you what's going in this pocket now. It's this tag that I made. Listen to them, children of the night. What sweet music they make. That's from Bram Stoker. And this is that same sort of purplish wood that's on the coffin. That's going to be living in here. So I love all the layering of castle and then castle. The main thing is, oh, I love this. Okay, so I've got this wing, this bat wing, and that is going to go on the Count, and then he will look like the Count because this is as he is transforming. I think I might have to stick this down a bit more, but just so you can get a general look-see. That is his wing. Let's get to this main event over here. I'm going to be covering the staircase with bats that I have die cut. So I have a lot. Like a lot. Like I was very worried that I wouldn't have enough. So I think I probably have enough for the rest of my life. The whole idea with pop-ups, which this could kind of be considered a pop-up, is that if you're adding stuff to it, like I'm going to, it needs to just go with the folds. That's the only rule. It can't cross over. So I can put a bat like this, for example, over here, and it will close just fine. It's not going to mess anything up. I can put a bat here. However, if the wings are crossing in here on the fold, that's going to be a problem. So as long as they're not on this fold or interfering with this fold, and they go on one of the sides, so either side of this V, like on the actual side of the step, things like that, they will be fine. Let's see how this goes.
There's a ghost in the foyer, it's true. He's waiting for me and you. There's no escape from here, my dear. The rest of our lives are looking blue. I can hear him rustling our hats. He probably stole our welcome mat. It seems we're doomed, he's got our shoes. So on the couch I'll stay with you.
I might add a few more. This is taking a really long time. I can't really close it. Well, I can quickly and open it because some of the stuff isn't dry. I don't want it to dry shut. So basically, this is what we're working with. Some wingies sticking out, and then bam. I don't know if I love it. It's not quite how I pictured it. I think I should have used more bigger bats. But anyways, yes. And then this is just actually going to live here on like the first step and only stick out like that. Coffin is going in here and then it's getting closed. My clippity-doo-dah, let me just see. Oh, that's just by the door in front. That is Dracula's castle. This door I'm going to go over with a bit of white just to make it a bit more pale. I'm going to use those jelly pens, those Faber-Castell ones. Just want to say thank you so much for watching and your patience with me, and I hope that you will stay with me and watch my channel and comment so we can have a chat and all that. Just know that I really do appreciate you. So I will see you again for day 15. Okay, farewell.